What's up, everybody? It's Chris and Wythe, the co-hosts of Why We Roll, here to just let you know we've got a big announcement. We are now live on Kickstarter with Danse Macabre medieval horror role playing. This is a game that I've personally been working on for a few years, and that we've been working on together for quite some time now. And yeah, everybody at Stillfleet Studio has had a hand in bringing this project to unlife, bringing it to Kickstarter, and we're just so proud and we're so excited to share it with everybody.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris. We just, we've been working on this game forever, and finally it's spooky season. And after some like weird, technical glitch last night, and all this stuff, all these ups and downs, with any project, the damn thing is live. So if you've played our games, if you like Chris's art and writing, and you've played games with us, we don't release games all the time, and we try to only release games that we think are really like fun and good. So yeah, I mean, I think this is a good time for folks who are vaguely interested in either cool new fantasy games, history, and/or specifically our work to check out the offerings on the Kickstarter. And this is going to be, I think, a short episode, right, Chris, to just kind of chat
Yeah.
through, basically what that has shaped up to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, if you are a listener of the show, you've heard this all before, but just for folks who are tuning in, Danse Macabre, it says what it does on the tin. It's a medieval horror role playing game, so it's set in real world history. It's alt history. We take a lot of liberties with it, including the fact that death just stops working in the narrative of the game. When you die, you are revived within a few hours with body horror mutations that are called maleficia. And when a person has died too many times, gone through this process called false death over and over and over again, they get revived as a demoniac. So think your kind of classic zombie, but with crazy body horror mutations, tentacles, teeth, snouts, wings, all kinds of like bug eyes and stuff like that. We got it all. But yeah. I mean, as far as what we have on offer with the Kickstarter, we have the core rule book, which I have written and finishing up right now. It's set in Constantinople. It gives you all of the rules that you need to play the game, from character creation to your basic core rules to some fun optional stuff around like travel. Like if you're really into hex crawl or point crawl, kind of OSR style wilderness exploration, we've got you covered. If you're into political intrigue with historically inspired factions, we got you covered. If you are into exploring what it means to be human in a weird world where you are literally constantly changing and losing the spark of your humanity, we've also got that. This, it's like hit the hood of the game. This bad boy can fit so many concepts in it.
Yeah, it's very specific, but we've tried, and like all our games, we've tried to have the specific lens, the specific entry point, so it's easy to set up session one, it's easy to learn, and it's easy to come up with plots as a GM, even if, especially if you don't know history, because it's not like a
Yeah.
textbook, right? It's a game. But at the same time, yeah, to your point, it opens up a lot of opportunities because you can take it in different directions. You can stay in a big city, and Middle Ages had big cities, and you can certainly go in the wilderness, and there's all manner of tropes you can draw on from kind of zombie literature as well as more or less classic D&D type fantasy, with the caveat that there's no magic, so it has that sort of more brutal, close to the ground. I think a plus
Yeah.
one to hit with a
Yeah.
sword is really good, kind of vibes. A little bit more, and that's why I think right, we're calling it old school adjacent or old school
Mhm.
inspired. The combat is old school. It's not an old school game at all. It's a new system, but it's closer to that kind of experience of creeping around the woods. And in this case, very much in a world of mutants and zombies, and kind of a, as you call it, the abandoned world, right? So it's the
Yes.
feeling of real Earth history, just some kind of real, true apocalypse happens, and like in many great apocalypse fictions, it's not explained. We're not going to
Yeah.
tell you exactly what it means. So we think we've already seen GMs have a lot of fun with their own philosophical takes, which is exactly the point, right? So the guest writers have had fun. So we have the guide, the setting book.
Yeah. Speaking of guest writers and other offerings that we have, go on, please.
Yeah. So we have other books in addition to the main rule book that you're writing, Chris, and we have the guide, which you and I both have chapters in, and a bunch of our friends, and that's fun, and it's great to sort of allow people to take the kind of underdefined on purpose, right? Like what is actually going on, idea here, and apply it around the world. We also have kind of a specific setting I'm writing that is meant to be both more urban and underground, so sort of filling that gap in a little bit. And that's in Paris because initially, you had the game set in Provence, and so we talked about, okay, Provence will be a chapter in the guide. You're doing this
Yeah.
whole book basically in Constantinople, so we're doing this follow up book that is kind of tying those threads together and covering. We sort of call it Western Eurasia, right? Like the
Hmm.
Mediterranean world from Constantinople to, basically France. We don't get really into whatever's happening in Spain. But
Not
yeah, we
yet.
give, not yet, yeah, right, and hopefully the game takes off enough where people. It would be ideal if actually I think people wrote their own supplements because there's
Yeah.
tons of history. I don't know it that way. Like it's fun to learn, but it really is like wow, this is a very deep world when you realize that this is the most well documented lore ever, which is just
Just our world history.
history. Yeah. So I like that about that as a writer. It's different, and it takes me back to kind of social science roots.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just a different, it's a different time period, different take on what these tropes could look like. And I think you've done a great job from a design standpoint of bringing them in, making fun powers, making fun mutations that still feel really easy to pick up. So I hope players do actually like play it. It's a great book to just flip through and like read, but it's fun. It's a fun game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, all of the books that we have on offer, there are four in total. The last one is a zine that I'm writing, which is called Reliquary. It's basically just a big old table of pseudo magical items, which in the game are called relics. They're items that were made before the abandonment, before death stops working. And inside of them, they hold this kind of mysterious energy that we also don't explain purposefully, called quintessence, which allows people to die naturally. So, the reliquary, it's a GM supplement, but also for players, just to kind of like get you into the tone of the game and give you some objects, some of which are inspired by real history. Some of them are actual artifacts that have been found in the world that we're using as inspiration. But yeah, just giving you a little bit more to bite into and to just use, more practically in the game as well. But what was I going to say? Yeah, so each one of the books that we are putting out, they have illustrations by myself, by Anthony Grasso and Ethan Goldini. All of us are working with slash under slash as Stillfleet Studio. So we've got some really wonderful visceral art. All of it is inspired by kind of horror manga or like Junji Ito or Berserk by Kentaro Miura. It's all very dark. It's all very visceral. It's all pretty gross at times, but tastefully so, I think.
Yeah,
And
for
then
sure.
yeah, Tony Anthony Grasso is also doing our layout design. He's done just a magnificent job of bringing the abandoned world to life. So yeah, you gotta check it out. Even just as like an aesthetic object, I think we've really hit the ball out of the park on this one.
Yeah, I agree. And, to keep it short, I think just folks should check out, stillfleet.com/danse, Danse, the old French way, and head over to Kickstarter. You can also just go to Kickstarter. You can look up Witch Starter. It's one of the main Witch Starter projects. And to be honest, for our company, this is our third big game, and
Yeah,
economically, it's real weird, right? It's a really weird time to
it's
have
a
any
tough time.
business. It's a tough time. I imagine it's tough if you have a bakery. I imagine it's tough if you have, whatever, you're like a social worker who travels to different old folks' homes, like whatever thing you're doing, making tortillas, teaching kids, whatever. It's hard. For us, I mean, we're essentially working artists. We all have other income streams because obviously we're not making a lot with games, and this campaign, given I think probably just the timing, it's really tough. It's something we want to do. We want to do a good job of putting out these books. We've bitten off a
Yeah,
lot. We've done most of the work, which we try to do in general, and I think is a commitment among all of us to quality, but also like not bullshitting people, right? Like we don't want to go into Kickstarter with a half baked idea. We want to go into something play tested and also more or less written with a lot of the art done so that we can really show people like, look, this is what you're getting. And we try to keep timelines. We've been, on time. I think with Stillfleet and Blister Critters, we within a year fulfilled pretty big launches. So we planned on this to be kind of the same thing, hopefully, bigger, if not because of essentially a silent recession, like similar in size. So we're
yeah,
still hoping on that. That would allow us basically to just keep operating And we're a small team of basically 5 artists in New York, and soon to be, just as little announcement, Philadelphia,
That's
and then
right.
Tony's in the Swamp in Tallahassee. So
Yeah.
we're keeping it keeping it real across the Eastern Seaboard. But yeah, if anyone is interested in these kinds of games, we know times are very weird and scary, and one reason I think the game actually does resonate, playing it, jamming it, is because it's a bizarre, dark time when you
Yeah.
can't trust governments, feels like the world is ending. Um,
As
Probably
we
that's
slip
always
into
the case.
neo-feudalism. Ooh.
Yeah, but and people want to stop that and fight against that. So it's a
Yes.
game about, in some ways, modernity coming early, because
Yes.
of a zombie apocalypse. Right. That's the thesis. Is okay. People would figure out new social forms because of a real external, hold my beer crazy event that just disrupts the feudal order. I hope that people also play in that spirit, in terms of, it is good old fun bashing zombies, right? But it's also a chance to, like, what would I do, right? Like, what should a city look like, or who should be in charge? Who do I
Yeah.
trust?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's one reason I think it's not just a good game; it's a timely game. Not to diss anybody else, but I think for this spooky season, Danse Macabre really captures the energy, the vibe. So I really hope, again, people, yeah, give the game a good look, and maybe join us for some actual play. Maybe
Yeah.
learn a little more that way. Chris, I don't know
Yeah.
if you want to hit
Yeah,
on
no,
those.
no, no. Yeah, I mean, for actual play, we have a lot of offerings. We're doing live streams over Twitch and YouTube, much the same way that you would watch Why We Roll or other Stillfleet Studio streaming games. You can go to twitch.tv/Stillfleet to check those out. And those are going to be on, well, it's basically every Sunday, right, coming up. So we have one coming up on Sunday the 12th at 7 p.m. And Wythe is going to be GMing that game. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that that one is set in Paris in the
Yep, yep,
unsunken
yep.
setting that you've been working on. And then after that, on the 19th, I will be GMing a game that is going to be set in one of the settings from Guide to the Abandoned World. I don't want to spoil too much now, but we're going to go beyond Constantinople. We're gonna explore the world outside of the immediate Mediterranean. It's still the Balkans, but don't tell anybody. Let's see. After that, on Sunday, October 26th, actually, that's kind of the crown jewel that we have here, which is that we're going to be doing a live game of Danse Macabre at Stone Circle Theater here in Ridgewood, Queens. We have some really wonderful actors who we're working with on that one. We have Jen De La Vega, Bijan Stephen, and Mike Ragnetta, all of whom are on the Fun City podcast. They've played some Still Fleets, so maybe you're familiar with them. If not, go check out Fun City immediately. It's a great actual play podcast. But yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be doing that in front of a live audience, hopefully recording, getting all of our kind of technical stuff down beforehand. But that's going to be great. It's going to be a 2 hour long live show. We'll be on stage. There will be, effects, maybe robes. We have to talk about our robe budget, of course. Uh, And then after that, on Sunday, November 2nd, Wythe will be running another game. Where do you want to say where that one's set, Wythe, or do you want to keep that
Yeah,
one a mystery for now?
no, no. It's, I think, the part of the draw. I mean, these are short games, right? They're 2 hour actual
Yeah, yeah,
plays. And I should say, we sort of just curated them with people we've talked about the game with, whom we wanted
hmm
to play with, and also people who have somewhat different backgrounds. So we just played, Chris just GM'd one in the sort of main setting, although we went over to Thessaloniki in Greece, but it's part of the
yeah.
Byzantine Empire. And what part of this kind of rump statification, the enshittification of Byzantine life before the zombie
Shittification.
apocalypse.
Yeah,
But so that game was with some actual historians, and our buddy Leonardo Andrade, who is a professional game writer, who's worked with Stillfeed Studio on a bunch of Stillfeed stuff, but is also translator and just an amateur historian, sort of like Chris. And for some different aspects of history myself. But that was great because we had people who really were deep into this world. On the upcoming stream, we have some streamers who stream horror, who are not necessarily coming at it as historians, but more as horror streamers. Obviously, on the 26th, we have our buds from Fun City, who are friends in New York, who happen to be really amazing actors.
oh
And
yeah.
then on the 19th, We have Twice World Tales, which is like a crew of streamers who are really great, who do amazing narrative work and just kind of rethinking stories and characters. So that'll be fun. And then on 11/2, we have some game designers, so some really fun game designers who are pros who make their own cool games, and I think it'll be fun. They've all made games that in some ways touch on this idea of like death or kind of brutal old school combat. So I think it'll be fun to kind of just see what they do with it. But to answer your question, these are short games, so I think it's fine to just say personally that one I think I'm going to set in Eastern Anatolia, kind of on what has been called the Silk Road, but is really, if you think about like a network of how goods are traveling across the vastness of Central Asia, and that was already weird at different times. It turns out, the deeper you dive,
Yeah.
and had all these great stories before, again, basically a mutant zombie apocalypse. So that story is just going to be, I think, a much more sort of wilderness and thinking about crossroads and different cultures coming together. Whereas, yeah, the other three before I think are each going to be in a really distinct place. The Paris one for sure is like showing off that book and trying to go into the sewers beneath Paris. So, you'll have to tune in. These are Sunday nights, other than the last one on 11/2 is going to be at noon. But you can find all this stuff out on our Discord, on our social media. It's easy to find. We have a graphic that summarizes all that. And just in general, we'll post stuff on YouTube. We've been trying to be good about streaming, posting things on YouTube, and just really showing people, hey, we're out here. Like we like playing these games. Like we're not, we try to have community with each other and with a wider group of creators, and like say other professionals, historians, actors, people who like playing these games. So, partially the actual play is to do our own homework and really play test and improve, and also to show folks like, yeah, this is how it works. You get a sense of it. So it's something in the past I don't think we did as much of and as steadily, and I'd like to in the future, really show behind the scenes and show the development, and get that sense of community that's so important. So I also think, just to kind of dovetail off that, we want to have people play on the server. So Chris,
Yes.
I think even like literally tomorrow we were talking about, so we're recording on Tuesday, October 7th. We're talking about on Wednesday, October 8th, having some kind of get together basically.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the idea with that is we're hoping to host kind of weekly West Marches style games of Dance Macabre, kind of short games, and we are going to kick that off tomorrow, Wednesday, October 8th. That one's going to be kind of a loosely organized session zero. So, if you're watching this, if you're curious about the game, if you want to learn more about the setting, have any questions that you want to ask me specifically as the creator of the game, or if you want to make a character, I'm just going to be hanging out in our Discord. Um, yeah, like I said, a loose kind of session zero, just kind of catching people up to speed on the setting, what's happening in the narrative, as well as maybe some character creation as well. But mostly just to hang out, just to say hi, let everybody know that we're real people. We really care about the things that we make. And like I said at the top, I've spent a couple of years working on this. I'm very invested in it, and I just want people to have fun in the world of Dance Macabre. So come through, say hi. We're going to be doing that tomorrow, Wednesday, October 8th at 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. So it'll be a short window, but if you come through, I can try to answer any questions that you might have as best I can.
Yeah.
Like Wythe said, I'm not a real historian. I consider myself an armchair medievalist at best. So, I got to look stuff up too, but we can figure stuff out together if you have very nitty-gritty historical questions.
Well, we also do. You have done a ton of research, and we do have a lot
Yeah.
in the book. So we've tried to. I think you and I have both spent a lot of time thinking about what's relevant to players and GMs, what makes a
Yes.
good story, and is a fun, vivid detail versus more or less extraneous detail. And well, maybe things went a little differently. So we even call that out. Oh, such and such doesn't happen until later. We think okay, 10 years later, it's the apocalypse. Maybe this event happens earlier, right? This thing
Yeah,
breaks down or
exactly.
changes. So that's fun. I do think also if people want to reach out, our Discord has been variously. We always have games. We always want to chat with folks. But in addition to sort of standing games, hey, just at us, or at wants to play, wants to GM, and we're very much down for it to be a space where people hack apart, try out the games, have little campaigns form and deform, and that's been a fun thing over the years. So just announcing, I think, is a kind of kickoff where we launch the game. It is not published in the sense we're still tweaking it, but it's substantially written. You really can get the whole experience. So
Yeah.
we'd love to play test that really widely and share that. So if you're interested, come on down, and if you can't make it to an official thing we're announcing, just again, just tag us and we'll set something up.
Yeah. Yeah. Always
So
down.
I think those are most of the things we wanted to say. Chris, is there anything else? So how do you feel having launched a Kickstarter? I believe this is your first like your game Kickstarter. Is that
It
fair to
is.
say?
Yeah, yeah, no, that is fair and accurate to say. No,
Oh,
this
snap.
is my first one. I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling good about it. We've seen a good response from our community to the game. Like you said, it's largely written. We're still tweaking a few things. We're still going through some editing, things like that. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's very overwhelming, but it's also exciting at the same time. And yeah, even just on the first day, reaching the numbers that we have, I'm super thankful to our backers so far. Hopefully, the word keeps spreading. Hopefully, we get some more folks to join the pilgrimage of Dance Macabre. But no, yeah, I feel good. I feel excited for what the next month has in store.
Yeah, yeah, same. It always feels different. I think launching these because there's a ton of work that goes in,
Oh yeah,
and it's a big team effort. Even if it's like I'm just doing a thing myself, but then it's like I can't draw. So that was what with, and even with Sylphid, right? Even with Ethan, pretty much as the dedicated artist, and we still that's how we met Tony. We opened it up.
hmm
We sort of were seeking out a few more drawings at the end as Ethan was madly trying to finish 200 assets or whatever. We had to lay the book out, and that involved multiple people in a kind of relay race as we realized how big these files get and how complicated the decision making gets around telling the
yeah,
story of the rules, right, and the lore in addition to just setting text in two columns or whatever. So I think it's fun to do that this time with more of a team, and we've tried to involve, like, say, the community in different ways. We had 20 sided store, shout out to them for
yeah.
hosting a
Big
kind of
shout out.
live 4-part tube table playtest campaign in the summer. We really got a lot of feedback.
It was so fun.
It was really fun,
Yeah, it was
and
awesome.
we played this game like last year. I think Gen Con as well as definitely PAX.
Gen
We're
Con
kind
and
of
PAX last year.
back at
Yeah.
PAX, yeah. So and what's the random one in Rochester? Running
Oh,
Gag,
running
yeah,
gag. Yeah,
Running Gag.
GAGG baby.
GAGG. So, big shout out. Like regional cons are super fun, and that was
Yeah, they're
a
great.
lot of that was great. So, a lot of honestly like really awesome college students come out and just try new games, which is so important. Obviously, if you're not doing 5e. But yeah, to Chris's point, shout out everyone who's supported the game in any way, whether it's monetary or just saying hi or trying it. But the next month is critical for us in that essentially we we gotta pay bills and basically even to print
Yeah.
it, we just have to raise enough where we can finish packaging it up, getting all the art done, send it to China, and then distribute it to lovely backers. So hopefully, yeah, it's a good time to spread the word. If you know anybody who might be interested, you want to share that link. And again, if anybody has questions, this is one of the weirder ones in that I think with Stillfleet and Blister Critters is more self-selecting this game because I think we even use the term OSR. We definitely got like some weird Facebook trolls who had like weird questions around like how old school is it, and that what was the one I shared with you, like there's an image you had of a female
Yeah,
a femme coded
some
pilgrim with an axe, and it was like, oh,
yeah,
this is a
some dude
girl
was
boss
like
game.
yeah, some dude was like cool girl boss game and yeah. Yeah, it turns out we try to, treat everybody we try to treat everybody equally. It's an apocalypse, man. Like things are going to chill. What do you want? What do you want? Get your nasty right-wing nostalgia out of my
Yeah,
face. Anyway, uh
yeah, so it's interesting how every time it's different, right, with the kind of responses and hurdles. But I think the goal of this third one is to have these three games that are very different but all have some overlap in terms of body horror in the system, and then also have the ability to then make some decisions going forward because we have a couple different things to do, a couple different things to market, run games of, expand on. And that's I think a shared vision too of these kind of worlds that develop over time and get better, right, and
yeah.
continuous sort of improvement. So if that's something you'd like to support, and if that's something you'd like to maybe even participate in, please hit us up. And yeah, hopefully Danse Macabre comes to life at the end of October. Basically, the PDFs should be available at least for the main rules. Like we might be able to send digital files, I'm hoping, by the end of the year. I forgot what I actually said in the campaign. It's probably a little after that, but I think it would make sense to
Yeah.
by the end of the year say, hey, this is at least a version, right? These are the playable rules with art. We'll have that. So, if that helps assuage anyone, it's not the kind of thing again you'll have to wait that long to really sink into, right?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And what's up, Taylor? Yes, definitely girl boss, girl body horror
Girl boss body horror.
um, is cool. It is not something right that we talked about expressly, but yes, Chris has drawn different kinds of different spectrum on the spectrum of kind of femme and mask, different
Yeah.
bodies. We did not think of it. We never thought that would be a thing to sell on or not sell on. It's not a
It's
game.
just not even really a consideration. It's
Yeah,
just, why wouldn't you treat all bodies, ecumenically? Why wouldn't you like give everybody a fair shake? It doesn't make
give them
sense
all
to
an
me not
axe.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah, give
you'll get an
everybody an
axe.
axe.
You get an
Everyone gets an
axe.
axe. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, all that being said, like, to White's point, we're a small studio, we're a small team of artists. We're trying to live by the art that we're creating. We're all very passionate about tabletop games. We're all passionate about storytelling. And yeah, I mean, any support will go a long way, whether it's backing, spreading the word. I mean, hopefully backing, but also spreading the word. If you've got nerd friends, if you've got historian friends, let them know about the game. Even if they're not tabletop people, maybe this will get them into a game with you. Maybe this will bring them to your table. Just maybe. I can't guarantee anything, but
Well said. I think that's a great note to end it on. If you tell them about this game and they like that kind of dark fantasy and especially history and zombie mixing in with the sort of sword and not sorcery, but sword and weird powers. You do get weird powers. You have
yeah,
mutation
you get weird
abilities that get
powers.
pretty strange. Then this is a great game, and maybe see if your table's into it. You can pick up the PDFs. You can pick up the books. There's also a hardback version, and again, all this does depend on reaching a kind of critical mass. So thanks to everyone who supported the game. Thanks to everyone who's chatted with us about it. And we really, really appreciate you guys. And we would love to just continue the conversation over on Discord. You know where to find us. The company name is the same everywhere.
It's the
Chris,
same everywhere.
any final thoughts as the creator? Big first night, big launch of Danse Macabre, medieval horror role playing.
I'm ready to see it come to life, come to unlife. That's what I keep saying. And yeah, again, just thank you so much to everybody who has contributed, everybody who has play tested. Thank you, Wythe. Thank you, Gay. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Ethan, our whole team at Stillfleet Studio that is helping bring this really crazy, silly dream to life. I really just appreciate everybody. And one thing that we haven't said that we should say, if you want to check out the Kickstarter for the game, go to stillfleet.com/dance, DANSE. The S is very important. So again, stillfleet.com/dance, DANSE. And thank you so much.
All right, with that, if there's no questions in the chat, we're going to close it out. This has been a Shorty Boo bonus episode of Why We Roll, the tabletop game design podcast at Stillfleet Studio. Thank you, Chris Pickett, and thank you to fans of horror everywhere. End the stream, Chris.
I'll end the stream.
Ending the stream, spooky style this time. We should end all our shit like that.
Should.